For centuries, we have held on to a specific cultural archetype born during the 18th century Romantic era of chess. We look at a grandmaster leaning over a board, and we assume their mastery translates into a terrifying, universal brilliance. The logic felt flawless at the time. If you could command an army of wooden knights and pawns with such precision, you must inherently possess the mind of a military tactician and the complex reasoning of a mathematician. And there was one spectacle that seemed to offer absolute proof of this superhuman intellect: grandmasters playing multiple simultaneous games of chess, entirely blindfolded. To track dozens of invisible pieces across multiple boards, the public assumed these masters were utilizing perfect photographic memories and a raw computational power far beyond that of a normal human. In the late 19th century, the French psychologist Alfred Binet decided to subject these blindfolded superbrains to scientific scrutiny. He tracked down the world's top masters and rigorously interviewed them, asking precisely what images materialized in their minds while they navigated a blindfold match. The answers broke Binet's own assumptions. The grandmasters did not possess photographic memories. Instead of seeing a crystal-clear image of the board, they reported visualizing abstract, blurry shapes that were no sharper than an average person's imagination. This leaves us with a rather uncomfortable mystery. If grandmasters don't have superpowered memory, and they aren't calculating millions of possibilities like a silicon processor, what exactly is happening in their heads? And are they actually any smarter than the rest of us? By the mid-20th century, a new scientific field called cognitive psychology emerged. Scientists like Adrian de Groot, William Chase, and Herbert Simon adopted chess as their primary testing ground, treating the game as the fruit fly for studying human cognition. In a landmark 1973 experiment, Chase and Simon took volunteers of varying skill levels, flashed a chessboard in front of them for exactly 5 seconds, and asked them to recreate the positions from memory. As expected, when the researchers showed them a board taken from an actual, logical game, the grandmasters perfectly rebuilt the positions, while novices struggled to place more than a few pieces. But then the researchers set up a board using the exact same number of pieces, placed completely at random. Stripped of the game's logic, the grandmasters' memory failed just as badly as the complete novices. The experiment proved that masters do not possess superior raw memory limits. Their apparent genius only activates when they look at data configurations they have already encountered in the past. Psychologists identified the specific cognitive mechanism responsible for this phenomenon, a process called chunking. You can see how this works with a simple string of numbers. Trying to memorize 10 distinct, unlinked digits sequentially is incredibly taxing on working memory. But converting those details into a few manageable blocks, like a phone number format, instantly bypasses that limit. This is exactly what happens on the board. A master isn't trying to calculate the independent coordinates of 32 individual pieces. They are instantly recognizing massive chunks of known tactical configurations stored deep in their long-term memory. This mechanism directly answers why players experience skill decay after taking a break from the game. When a player gets rusty, they haven't lost IQ points. Their brain simply takes slightly longer to retrieve those specific chunks from the filing cabinet. Chess mastery is an intensely specialized filing system of pattern recognition built through thousands of hours of repetition. It is not a measure of raw general brainpower. If the scientific community knows that chess is simply a hyper-specific pattern filing system, it raises an obvious question for modern society. Why do schools and parents persist in treating the game as a magical tool to boost children's math grades? For decades, educators leaned on flawed research, including a prominent 2016 meta-analysis that showed positive correlations between chess instruction and higher academic scores. That assumption faced a harsh reality check when the UCL Institute of Education conducted a massive, rigorous study tracking nearly 2,000 children over a full academic year. The results were unequivocal. Between the kids who spent the year learning chess and the passive control group who did absolutely nothing out of the ordinary, there was zero difference in academic performance. Simply put, pushing pawns across a board does not upgrade a child's mathematical engine. The earlier optimistic studies had fallen victim to the placebo effect. Students engaged in any fun, stimulating extracurricular activity, whether it's chess, drama, or playing an instrument, naturally report feeling more enthusiastic and engaged with schoolwork in general. But the deeper error lies in a cognitive bias known as the far transfer fallacy. Far transfer is the scientifically dubious idea that training rigorously in one highly specific domain will automatically transfer those cognitive skills into a completely unrelated domain. You cannot practice chess and expect to accidentally get better at algebra. The reality is a matter of correlation, not causation. Brilliant, analytical minds might naturally be drawn to the deep complexity of a chessboard, but playing chess does not actively manufacture brilliant minds. It is time to let go of an archetype we inherited from the 18th century. Living in a scientific era means we can strip away the myth and appreciate chess for exactly what it is: a beautiful, fiercely complex game of specialized pattern recognition, and absolutely nothing more.